Hello everybody, 'tis the season for Halloweeny type decks. Now, these decks, I've got a couple that I want to show you walk through that I've been saving up for this season. They are not decks that have to be used in this season. In fact, most of my Halloween type decks I use all year long. And I'm going to kind of pull together my decks that I really love to use. I am waiting on a new one that's coming in, but I've got a couple here. And so I'm excited to pull these out and show these to you. So the first one that I want to show you is the Enchanted Bruja Oracle by Alexandra Brunch. This is a 24 card oracle. It comes in a little tuck box right here, and it has this awesome back. Now come on. For me, that is like an awesome back for Halloween. And again, you have to use this just at Halloween? Of course not. But it is particularly cool. Thank you so much for taking home a copy of the Enchanted Bruja Oracle deck. I combined my love of tarot and my favorite holiday, Halloween. I wanted to make this oracle deck as simple as possible. Relatability is extremely important to me, and I want you, the reader, to use your own intuition to read these cards. You can apply these messages as a tool for your craft or your own personal daily guidance. Alexandra. She had sent this to me a while back, but of course I was saving it for this month. It does come with a little bit of an oracle guide here. So you have bat, justice, seeking truth, broom, those types of things. I think these are great types of deck for sort of Lenormand-esque style reading. I love this style of cards. It's like similar to, say, the Mildred Payne Oracle, or the I love that one that's a black and white one. I'm going to be pulling them all out. But like Lenormand, like Kipper, fortune telling style decks that are simple symbols that it's almost like you're reading doing a tea leaf reading, and you've got these simple symbols and they pop up and they give you a message that's concise and tells you what it is. I love that style of reading. Obviously, brings you back to your cartomancy roots. This to me is perfect. It does have, we're going to zoom in here a minute, but it does have what the item you're focused on, and it does give you a single keyword, which I think is helpful, but it's not, you can do what you want with it. It gives you a little bit of an idea of where to go with it, but you don't have to. Obviously, we're going to be blocking the edge of this deck shortly. But she does give you some more keywords so that you can, if you're like, I don't know quite what to do with this, she gives you extra keywords, which I think is fantastic. Again, perfection on the back. It's really Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Okay, let's scroll in here. Oops. Scroll a little bit out here. There we go. And I don't know if I've mixed these up or not. My guess is I have, because it's hat instead of bat, but that's okay. We're just going to roll with it. Here we have a hat for choice. Of course, the idea of choice makes you think of like Harry Potter and choosing the house. I'm not, I know some of you out there are huge Harry Potter fans. I am not. I have read them all because my children were obsessed with them, but I'm not like a huge Harry Potter fanatic, but I think like you choose your hat for your house or something. You're all probably like, no. But that's what makes me think of when I see hat and choice. But I also do like the idea of when we put, because this doesn't have to be obviously witchy or Harry Potter related, when we put a particular hat on, we're making a choice to sort of see the world from that view, or to act from that particular place, right? If we're putting on our mom hat, you see here that term, or, okay, I need to sit down and put on my thinking hat, or I need to sit down and put on my worker bee hat here so that I can get some stuff done. It's a choice what hat we're going to put on and when we take it off, and so I quite love that for a card. I like the term refinement for wand, but this also is about intention, right? It's about focusing your energy, directing your energy in a way that I think is really powerful to have in a reading, because it's like, okay, direct your energy. Don't be being thrown around by the energy. You need to be doing the directing to the energy. Veneno. Let's go here. It means poison, I know that, but I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Veneno is obviously a word for poison, but you don't even need to know that just looking at the bottle. I love the bottle here. I love the artwork. It's clean, it's simple. It says the point. Again, very kind of Kipper Lenormand-esque feel, and I quite enjoy it. But we have poison. This can be expulsion, something that's going to make you throw up out what you don't like, the toxicity that you don't need. This can also be an eating away at something. I actually, in my charm casting set, I have a little skull and crossbones that talks about something that might be eating away at your relationship or eating away at a particular situation. Whether that's positive or negative has to do with whether you want that gone, right? It depends on what other cards come up. Spider for perseverance. For me, this is about creation as well, and you need perseverance to create, to be meticulous, to build your web, to then have the patience to sit there and wait for your prey to stumble into it. So there's so many things that you can do with spider energy, and it's a gorgeous image. And I don't know if you can see. It's got beautiful symbols on the back. I do love spiders. Again, I kind of want them to stay in their own space and not jump in my face, but I do love spiders. Scarecrow for stagnation is interesting, right? You're just stuck there. You're not moving. But you can also use a scarecrow as sort of boundary, and setting your boundaries. You're going to scare off the energy that you don't want. I think there's a lot that you can do. I do like the stagnation. There's no feet. You can't go anywhere. If you just set yourself up to protect what you have, you're never really going anywhere. But there is also a way in which, for me, Scarecrow might be used to say, okay, look, you've done all this work on your garden, you've all this kind of stuff. Make sure you're setting up your things that are going to protect the energy that you've put into these things. So kind of boundary making in a way. Palo Santo for meditation, for enhancing power, for kind of ramping up the power, for setting space, setting your intention. That's a really beautiful image. Here we have the beautiful owl for exploration, obviously wisdom, for keen eyesight in the dark, you know, kind of paying attention, being observant, exploring your world with that, you know, clarity of vision. I love the Death's Head moth here. I think it's gorgeous, and again, it gives that beautiful transformative energy without there needing to be a butterfly, so I love that. Beautiful Miss Luna for creativity, manifestation, cycles, right? There's a lot that you can do with moon energy. But of course we have now, see, I like this. Okay, so then that allows, like, okay, Scarecrow can be more like, are you just going to protect what you have, or are you going to continue to create and build? Because you do have the pumpkin for protection, for scaring off unwanted energy and things like that. So that's cool. I love that. I love pumpkins. Haunted house for unresolved issues. There's things that are there that are not resolved. You're going to have to do the work to be able to resolve them. Love it. Harvest for abundance. I love a harvest card in the dark, right? How awesome is that? Going into a cornfield at dark is awesome. It's very creepy, it's very scary, and it's very fun in a way, but I love this, right? This is a dark, obviously all of the cards are nighttime, and I love still having that harvest and that abundance, and that corn stalks there under the light of the moon is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Cat for courage. Just independence, courage, not afraid of the dark. That kind of energy is powerful. Phantasma for the past. So that's so interesting, right? Because ghosts and things are what's haunting you from the past, but it's a little bit different I think, than unresolved issues. The haunted houses are often that there was a problem that just kind of keeps coming. It's not been resolved, and so it's always going to have that energy that's there that needs to be resolved. Our past doesn't always need to be resolved, but it's always there, and it's always impacting where we are right now. The Evil Eye is a warning card. It's also, I believe, a protection card, or it's a protective energy as well. But it's like, hey, pay attention here. Warning, maybe someone or something wishes you harm. Tread cautiously. Be careful. So I like that idea of, okay, watch out, pay attention, be careful. It's like the fox is a bit of a warning. Crystal ball for intuition, seeing what's not so easily seen, that type of energy there, which is listening to your instinct, stop and look, which is gorgeous. Raven for learning, for messages. There is a message on the wind from the other world. Pay attention. There's something to be learned here. Here we have a cemetery for repose. I actually do love cemeteries. I think they are very peaceful. I think that especially older cemeteries, I find them to be very peaceful. Now, not everybody, I suppose, in that cemetery may be at peace, but I do love cemeteries. And if you've ever read the Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, I love them even more after getting to know all of the people in that particular graveyard. So I love that. Cauldron for spell work. What are you going to put into your cauldron? What are those pieces that you're going to mix in? How are you going to build something? You could even find the cauldron, shuffle, 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 find the cauldron and look on either side and see, okay, what do I need to put into my cauldron to create something? So I'll probably try that at the end, because I love cards like that for that. But get in and make something. Take the energy that's at your disposal and create something. Candelabra for Crossroads. I love a Crossroads card. You've got a choice to make. There's a decision to be made. You've got to go one way or another. It's a great card to have in this kind of what I call a fortune-telling style deck. It's hard to, that's just what I call them. It doesn't mean that you're using it for fortune telling, but it's just that style of simple symbols. Let's get working here. And I love a Crossroads card. Let's see. This is Calavera. I'm sure I'm slaughtering that. Obviously, it's a skull, so it's not hard to pick that out. For obstacles, which is interesting. Obstacles, bondage, deception, and falsehood. How are you going to get this skull to tell you the truth? There may be something that is not being truthful in the situation. The Bruja, so this would be, I assume that Bruja is a name for witch. A witch for me is somebody who is using their craft. They are using their wisdom, they're using what they know, and they're practicing it. So that's my personal definition of a witch, or a Bruja, or however you might, a hedge walker, whatever you might feel comfortable with. For me, witchcraft, we often, I think, conflate with Wicca or with a religion. And can a witch be religious? Of course. But that's kind of, for me, it's something separate. Witchcraft itself is a craft. It is somebody who is taking their lore, taking their wisdom, taking their knowledge, taking the energy at their disposal and the tools at their disposal, and they are using it. They are crafting. They are practicing what they believe about the world around them. And so that's a powerful reminder to use what you have. Do the work, right? Do the work. Don't just talk, practice. Broom for cleansing is awesome, and flying, but awesome. And then we have bat for justice. I think I went backwards is what I did, but that's okay. Bat for justice is awesome. It is air. It's the only mammal that's able to fly. I really appreciate bat energy. Since the Jeopardia Tarot, which has the Suit of Swords as bats, that has really solidified my love for bats as air energy, as justice energy, as representative of that ability to fly if we put our energy towards clarity and justice in the case of this card. So what I love here is that we have very clear images. In fact, let's see, we don't have a lot, so it's not like 78 cards is what I mean. So let me grab, okay, Sharpie marker. I prefer chisel tip. Always put your marker to the back of the card instead of the front, although this is all black on either side, so it doesn't matter as much. So what I love about this is I do like it, I think you wouldn't need the keywords on it because it's so beautifully and simply done in a way that I don't think it's needed. But I think it is helpful because it does give you a starting off place to go, which I appreciate, but it doesn't, neither the images nor the keywords are constricting, right? Neither of them feel like I can't run off and do whatever I would like to do with a card that comes up. So I quite appreciate that in an art style for this, especially for this type of deck. You don't really want the art getting in the way. There's a little, there we go. You don't want the art getting in the way. You don't particularly want a bunch of keywords, so I love that it's just one and they aren't restrictive. So I do quite appreciate that in a deck. I also love that we are seeing light and shadow. Of course, it's an all black dark deck, but it doesn't feel like a dark deck. You know what I'm saying? It's not trying to be skewed overly towards, ooh, this is a creepy negative deck. And all you're going to get is creepy negative readings out of it. Definitely not. It actually feels quite balanced. You've got some, and also obviously what question you're asking is going to determine whether you're reading something in shadow or not. And so it really leaves it open to that. We've got cards like abundance, but we do have cards like unresolved issues and things of that nature that are going to help you to resolve some issues and not just have happy-go-lucky symbols either. I do feel like for 24 cards, there's a lot of options there for light and shadow and to get a nuanced reading. So I quite love that as well. So I'm going to, let me just quickly finish up edging this because I do want you to be able to see. I mean, this is definitely, if there's ever a deck to edge in Sharpie, black Sharpie marker, this is the one because it's just all black. And then the pop, that's another thing that I do really like, is I love the pop of orange on the back, and I love that sort of yellow illumination for the words, which is just enough. It's not obnoxious. It's just enough to kind of bring that spark of color. Ooh, ooh. Sometimes you go a little too far, and that's okay. It is a Halloween deck. Be careful. Don't do it when you're on camera. You can usually take a little alcohol swab and clean it up, but test it. Like, thankfully, she's given us a couple different extra cards. So always test that type of thing if you can on another deck. After you do a few cards, see how I've got a white piece there? You always want to kind of stick them together and see where you might have missed a spot, because it inevitably happens. So, okay, I'm going to stop babbling for a second and finish these up, and then I'll come back and we'll do a couple pulls because this is awesome. Okay, so you can see, like, that's just made to do that. You will get, I get like a little lines while I'm doing it because I'm holding the cards while they're wet. But once Sharpie dries, for me personally, I don't get any other pass off. Like, I can then shuffle the cards for years and I don't get any kind of residual. I don't get anything that comes up. Now, you might be different. I always recommend, get yourself a cheap deck of playing cards and edge it in Sharpie, let it dry, play around with it for a while, and, see how it works for you before you start hitting like your decks that, you don't particularly want to ruin, right? Know thyself, know how your skin and your hands react to marker, and that kind of thing, and just use something cheap like a $3 playing card deck to be able to get a feel for how that works for you. But I have edged many a deck in black Sharpie, and I've had no problem whatsoever. So, all right, so let's pull a card here. Let's pull a card. They shuffle great. It's nice cardstock. Maybe like make playing card or just with the tuck box. Or I don't feel like it's Game Crafter because it's been a while since I've had a Game Crafter deck, so they may have improved their cardstock. But this feels good, like maybe make playing cards or something like that, which I like their cardstock. But I could be wrong. But it's nice. It's got a nice feel to it. It's satin. It's not glossy. It's just you've got some sheen there, but it's not glossy at all. It really feels good. So I would do definitely a couple things. Obviously, we'll just pull straight first. For me, obviously, you've got to pull at least 3. This 24 card deck, I would definitely pull 3. Let's see what message we have from the Enchanted Bruja Oracle. Scarecrow. Okay, we're not, if we lose, because we do have the pumpkin for protection, although this is sort of, you've worked hard, set your boundaries, but also don't get stuck where you are, right? Keep moving. You can't just guard what you have and never move on to the next thing or never move. You do want to keep moving and going. Use your intuition to know when is that right time, right? Because again, I personally don't see Scarecrows entirely as negative, but we don't want to stay there. It's kind of like the Four of Cups. That's a safe, calm space with the Four of Cups, but you don't want to stay there or else it will turn into stagnation. So there is a time to set up your boundaries, set yourself rooted in the ground, and tend your garden, tend what you've put into place. But once you've pulled that harvest up, are you going to stay there? You've got to at some point keep moving forward and go on to the next thing. And so you're really going to have to trust your instinct to be able to do so. And the last one is, this is interesting though. Right now, it's like, okay, then take a breath for a minute. So we have this energy of guarding what you have. You've got this garden, you've planted it, you're weeding it, you're tending it, you're wanting that energy to grow. So is this a time? Pay attention to your instincts. Is this the time to leave? I would say actually no. Given this card here, which says take a minute, assess where you're going to go first, right? Okay, let's finish this up. It's not really time quite yet to jump off of the Scarecrow thing and start running. It's not quite time yet. Let's kind of finish up the energy here, and let's take a step back and breathe for a minute, relax. You've accomplished something, and give yourself a minute to then figure out where you're going next. We don't just need to jump off of the pole and start running willy-nilly. Let's figure it out first. So I really like these cards because it gives us a complex energy here. And then it kind of centers us in understanding that we're going to know if we're paying attention to our intuition, if we're not just dilly-dallying over here, we're going to know when it's time to then move to the next place. But let's take a minute, let's let this energy finish up, let's take a breather for a second between projects, and let's figure out where we're going to go in that moment of quietness, and then when the time is right, when our intuition tells us, get up and get moving. So I quite love that. Very, very nice. So you could do, that's, for me, this kind of deck is made for a 3-card pull, right? I absolutely love that. But let's go find the cauldron. And there's a couple different things. You could pull for the witch or the bruja and pull on either side and see. This has got significator cards. Let's say you are feeling stuck like the Scarecrow, right? You could turn it over and find the Scarecrow here and see what's on either side. Okay, actually it is time to protect. It is time to protect what you have, and you watch. Be wary, be aware, paying attention. Use your instant intuition. Is that a rabbit? Is that a deer? Is that somebody coming to steal your pumpkins, right? It is a time to button down. So you use these like significators. Let's say you say, oh, I do feel like I have a lot of unresolved issues. Okay, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Find the house, haunted house. And yeah, there's some things that you're not aware of. There are some secrets. There may be some lies that are going on. There's some obstacles in your way due to unresolved issues. This says don't sit around and wait for this to do, but do the work. Get out, do your craft, start digging around, figure it out. This isn't a time for lazying about. It's a time to do the work and figure it out, right? So it's great when you have significator cards because you can do this. And as obviously, when I was going through the deck, I think the cauldron's amazing. If you just want to say, okay, what do I need to be doing right now? Okay, so I'm supposed to be crafting, I'm supposed to be doing something, I'm supposed to be doing active, doing something. All right, well, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Find your cauldron. This is how I use Lenormand all the time. Find your cauldron and see what are you going to put in the pot. Okay, I need to clear some space. I need to sit and clear my mind. I need to be in a space for meditation. I need to be in the right frame of mind to work. I'm going to throw some Palo Santo in that cauldron. I am going to pull some perception, some insight, some willingness to really look deep and work. And I'm going to put that in my pot. Right, and I'm going to do that, and then you could pull, say, I don't know, the bottom of the deck for sort of what's that's going to give you. It's going to give you the ability to be able to see your way out of a situation, to get yourself away from those obstacles. What is going to be the result of that? It could be the very top card as well, or the bottom card, and say, what's going to be the result if I put these two things into my cauldron, because I'm going to look at those in light, even if they're shadow cards, because they're things I'm purposefully mixing in to create something, and what is going to be my result? How is that going to help me? And you can pull sort of the bottom card there. So use decks like that, like this kind of deck they're fantastic for, again, 3-card pulls, but also for using the significator cards, right? You want to clear space. I've got some work to do to clear some space. Where's my broom? Yep, do the work. I need to clear away unresolved issues, right? So use the significators to find what it is how you need to approach a particular situation, and that really can make these style of decks come to life. It's one of my favorite ways of working with this, because the creator here is giving you some great keywords, some great significator cards to work with, so you can do that. Figure things out. Where's your harvest, right? Find your harvest card. Harvest, a sense of focus, a sense of refinement, and clear space, right? It's time to harvest a clarity, harvest an ability to just say it's time to wipe the space clean, and it's time to focus things in. So what am I going to be harvesting right now? That's a great significator right there, right? So I know I'm beating it over the head with this broom, but I just think try this out on decks like this that are built really well for this style of reading, and I think you won't be disappointed. Okay, thank you for looking. I really love this, which I knew. She had contacted me to say, would you like to take a look at my deck? I always look at the decks first, because if it's not something that I'm going to really resonate with, it's not in the best interest of the person to waste a deck on it, as well as, because that's just not right to take a deck when you think, oh, no, I would never use that, or just not in my lane. This is 100% in my lane, and I knew it would be an amazing deck to be able to show all of you, as some of you would appreciate it as well. So there you have it. Transform, but protect, and know when to step back and take a breath. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, I'm hoping to pull a couple more of these style decks out to do walkthroughs of, as well as I'm going to pull a compilation together of all of the season decks that I particularly love.